Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Tuesday the 5th, and today was a lovely, beautiful day to be alive. Got up this morning, fairly decent time frame, got up, got around, didn't have any dogs here, so it's kind of strange. This is the second day I've had off without dogs, and it's kind of weird, especially without Bruce here. Seems to be extra, I guess, lonely in the house, for lack of a better term. So I got up, got a few things done. Wife got off to work without issue. From there, we got a couple other things taken care of, nothing major. Went ahead and got a few things around the house done. Watched a little bit of TV inside, which is not the most normal for me, but I've been doing it more lately. So went ahead and did that. Went out and did some yard work, kind of off and on, had a few things. Was gonna go for a bike ride a couple different times and start drizzling. It was not bad, and I probably could have rode the bike in the rain, but it's just one of those situations where I'm already on that new tadpole recumbent. I'm already at high risk of being run over, and you add the rain to it, people not paying attention and whatnot. It's definitely puts me at a much higher risk that I want to mess with. So didn't really want to take too much time with that. And I should have just thrown it in the truck and went to one of the bike trails and ripped it there, but that didn't happen either. I guess being a little bit on the lazy side, partly because the sunburn's still pretty tender and not sure I want to ride the bike and chafe all those extra spots up. So definitely, it's amazing how something so stupid as a sunburn has affected such a long, a week of my life. It's just ridiculous. So, but it's all good. So went ahead, got a couple other things done. Reached out about 11 a.m. this morning, got on Facebook, and it said I had to log in. I was like, what the hell? So I tried to log in, and it said my password's wrong. And I'm like, what? So I tried to reset the password, and it said it wouldn't take it. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? So I tried a couple different little things, and nothing. Reached out to my wife, and she goes, yeah, Facebook's down nationwide. So it's Instagram. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. But it was already like 11:30 at this point when I found out, whatever. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me, but went ahead and held it, got a couple other things done. I was doing a few things here and there. They eventually got Facebook back up. I don't know if they're getting hacked by hackers or just updating their systems or who the hell knows what, but I doubt we'll ever get the actual true answer because nobody tells you the truth when it comes to a multi-billion-dollar company. They don't want you to know whichever the mistake was. They're going to paint it in the best picture to make themselves appear better. So, but yeah, got a couple of things there. Got back on Facebook, started looking around, and found out there was another BMW convertible for sale listed just a few hours ago. So I was like, okay, no big deal. So I went ahead and reached out to them to ask when I could come look at it. It was just right there in New Smyrna, so it's right here next to us, so it's no big deal. Then got a reply back asking me to call or text the husband with a cell phone number instead of reaching out through Facebook, which was a little bit strange, but I'm like, okay, not that big a deal. Maybe the wife posted and the husband's the one dealing with it, whatever, no problem. So reached out to him. It took a while, got back to me and said he was a little busy and he'd be free at 4 o'clock, and he's over on Beachside area. And I was like, okay, let me know when you're free, because a lot of times people say they'll be free at 4 o'clock and then you drive an hour or whatever to them and it's about 4:15 and they're like, no response. And then 6 o'clock they reach out like, oh, I got busy, I got hung up. So I'm never driving anywhere and meet something like that unless we have an exact time and an appointment, which is only 20 minutes over where he's at, North Causeway area. So 17-20 minutes. And I was like, okay, reach out to me about 4 o'clock, take care of it. Went over to look at it. It'll be nice. It's already blue. I found a different one that I thought my wife might like, but it's been wrapped. It's originally black and it's just wrapped this weird kind of gray color. It's inside a shop. When I saw it, I hadn't actually seen it out in the sun, so I don't know exactly what color the vinyl wrap is. But in the process of looking around, I called a couple wrap shops and was quoted between $3,500 and $4,500 to rewrap the car, which seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of money, because I can get an actual paint job for $5 to $10 grand and whatnot, and that's a lot more work than putting some vinyl on. But hey, everybody's got their own idea. So, and plus with paint, you can't get some of the crazy chameleon colors as easily in graphics. But I just want this thing, my wife wants it to just be blue. She's not trying to have some kind of weird clown car. She just wants a blue convertible. So, but I figured by the time if I got the wrapped one, and let's say it was 10 grand and then $4,500, worst case scenario, assuming the paint's complete trash and it peels off underneath, which I don't know. I'm 45 grand into it. It's now 15 grand into this thing, or 14.5. Well, this other one is 3 years newer and a little less mileage, and it's only 12 grand. So I'm like, okay, cool, no big deal. I'll go over and I kind of like to, I look at a $10,000 car as a throwaway car. So anything that 10,000 and below, if you buy it and something major blows up in it, like a motor or transmission, and it's no longer worth fixing, you sell it for $3,500 for parts, and you move on, and you don't care. So you lost $6,500, but you're not putting another $8,000 or $10,000 into an engine that may have transmission problems and other things and stuff down the road. If it's not a car you plan on keeping for the next 100 years. So the car you plan on keeping for 100 years, who cares? Put 10 engines in it, who gives a shit? But it is what it is. So didn't hear from the guy, decided to hell it, went and got my run in, got back, got my shower, and I was hanging out. Finally, it was pretty late. It was like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, whatever. The guy reached out and goes, hey, I'll be free at this time if you want to head over. And I'm like, okay. Like, it happened to like at 4 o'clock, but whatever. So I went ahead and said, okay. So I reached back out to my wife, and knowing she was getting off work, I said, hey, what time do you think about getting off work? And she said she's leaving there about 5:30. I'm like, okay, would you want to ride over to Beachside? Because now it's at that weird point, like, if I go now, I won't be back before she's back home. Then she'll get with me for dinner and all that stuff. Would you want to go look at a car for sale for you, kind of thing? And she goes, yeah, I can leave now. I'm like, well, no, you stay where you're at. I'll come pick you up because it's already going that way, going north. So it makes no sense to drive home, to turn around and drive back that way. So she said, okay. I said, I'll let you know when I'm heading that way. I'm getting close. You can meet me out. You can keep working until then. So went ahead, grabbed myself a drink and grabbed my headphones and jumped in the Corvette, headed over there and picked her up. Asked her which one to take, because it's still that might rain on us kind of thing, which isn't the end of the world if you get rained on. But went ahead and she decided to ride in the Corvette over because we don't take the Vat out very much. So we're over to Beachside, got there. It's a weird condo, apartment building type space, whatever. And get there, reach out to the guy. I'm like, hey, we're here. So I give him a heads up, like, hey, we're on our way and stuff, whatever. We're here now. Don't hear from the guy. And he's like building 3, so I'm out there. I'm like, I'm out in front of building 3, parked next to a giant gray van, and nothing. And we stand around for like, it seems like way too long. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, come on, buddy. Like, trying to be a dickhead here, but you knew we were coming. You know, just why is it taking this damn long? So another thing that sucks, I don't see the car anywhere around. And I'm like, because at least I come in and walk on the car and looking it over for scratches and whatnot and whatever and stuff. He finally comes out and he tells me the car's parked way up by the front entrance, which again, you could have told me that to begin with in the text message. Said, hey, the car's parked at the front entrance. We could have basically, you know, again, been looking over it while you walk your butt up there. So he was like, well, if you want to drive up there, I'm like, well, I didn't see it when I came in, so I don't know how many front entrances are to this place. I'll just walk up there with you because it ain't that far. So we walk up there, see the car, looks all right. It's got some scratches and stuff that was not disclosed in the, you know, ad. It was basically, oh, the car's in perfect condition, inside and out, and interior's got some wears and tears and some damages and stuff that's not traditional wear and tear on a car. So when you describe the car as, you know, perfect condition inside and out, and you clearly are lying about that, either you're a liar or you're stupid. I don't know which. Stupid or liar is one of the games I love to play with people. Are you so dumb you don't see all the scratches and the damage and pieces of interior missing, or are you so, you know, just a liar and you think I won't notice it and I'll get so desperate to buy a convertible BMW that I'll overlook all this shit? Can't tell which. But I went ahead and he fires it up and actually gives me the key and gives me some information that isn't right about the car. So I'm like, that's not what everything on the internet says, but whatever. So I went ahead and got the car fired up. Fires up, sounds all right, blah, blah. I kind of look out back, and I usually like to have them start their car up the first time because I like to look at the exhaust, yeah, it does. But you can get a little puff of, you know, condensation and stuff in the exhaust. It starts up. Only then I'm like, it looks like it's smoking. I'm like, what the hell? A 2011 BMW should not be smoking with 60-some thousand miles on it. It should not be sitting here smoking. I start looking where the exhaust tip's been sitting, and there's drips out the exhaust tip where it's been sitting there, and it's, I assume, been started up and then shut off and started up a lot there. And the exhaust tips have a lot of creosote and oil buildup and whatnot, the black on the exhaust tip, and it's just got white smoke coming out of it. I'm like, that's not good. It means there's rings, valves, or more likely than not, it's a head gasket that's leaking out, and who knows. So but I was in your stuff and I was kind of looking it over and asking about it. He acted like, yo, I don't see it. I'm like, you don't see the smoke coming out the exhaust? He's like, no. I'm like, well, do me a favor, step in there and rev it up a little bit for me. So he goes, he gets up like 900 RPM. I'm like, no, rev it up. Like, give it a little gas. He revs it up pretty good. and this big poof of white smoke comes rolling out. Like it looked like one of those guys with one of those giant vape rigs. Like this thing just boomed smoke out, and I'm like, yep, I'm out. Like I looked at my wife and I'm like, we're done. Like we're out of here. Had he been honest about it, whatever. And then the big kick in the teeth is there's no license plate on it. So where's the license plate? He goes, oh, we just bought a Jeep and we transferred the plate to the Jeep and whatever. And I'm like, okay. So how am I supposed to test drive? He goes, well, everybody else has been test driving it. They've just been driving around here in the parking lot. And I'm like, well, it's hard to get up to like 65 mile an hour and see how it handles on the interstate and how the brakes work and stuff, driving around a parking lot and that whole process of what's going on. So I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, well, that's what everybody else been doing. I'm like, hell. He goes, well, I guess I could take the plate off the Jeep and put it back on there. I'm like, nope, that's completely against the law. And even as it's your car, the best case scenario I could argue is I didn't know he did this. I'm just test driving this car and this guy did this, but you've already told me you did this. So now I'm committing, which is a jailable offense in Florida. I found out when I bought my Corvette, driving around for 3 days with no license plates, that it's a jailable offense to drive a car in Florida without license plates. So I am not taking that chance anymore. So I can't even run it to a mechanic or nothing because it doesn't have plates on it. I'm assuming most likely the car doesn't have insurance on it. And then I also started noticing, I said, so how long are you guys down here for each winter? Because they come down the winter. He goes, oh, we come down every winter for 3 months at a time, blah, blah. And we're going back home next week. And I'm like, or this week, whatever, they're leaving. And I'm like, oh, that seems weird. Why would you immediately, like, so quick and fast, dump this car off and buy a Jeep that, by the way, you leave here, you don't even take it with you. So you bought a Jeep 4-door that you now are trying to sell as BMW, they didn't just trade it in. Like, they don't seem like the kind of people who are like car savvy and stuff. So my guess is what happened was he rolled up at a mechanic to get the car serviced, and they said threw a code or whatever, and they've since reset it. But went ahead, threw a code or something. They said, oh, your head gasket's bad, your rings are bad, something's wrong with your motor. And the guy said, screw it, try to trade in. Whoever tried to trade in at saw the damage, saw the motor problems, saw the issues, and said, we'll give you $2,500 or $3,500, where it was for it. Maybe less, who knows. But he went ahead and said, oh, I can get more than that out of it on myself, blah, blah, blah. And very well may have dumped in some treatment into the motor, who knows what, to try and nurse it by in the process. So that deceiving type thing. And then bought the Jeep right away, because why would you buy a Jeep and then literally 1 week later move back to Colorado for the rest of the year, then let it sit here for 8-9 months unattended, where you would have just waited till you get back down and bought the Jeep, and or the whole time you're out there, look for the proper Jeep you would have had, you could have bought out there and drove back down or whatever in the process. But there was a lot of stuff there. When I pointed out the issues, the motor stuff, the guy was like, well, shouldn't I have showed up when I had it serviced? I'm like, depends on what service. You take it to a Jiffy Lube and go change my oil, they're not checking that shit. Now, if you took it to a licensed BMW mechanic or somebody who specializes in European cars and says, hey, give this thing a complete once over, I'm getting ready to take a trip to Idaho in it, they should have found that. But I don't know if that's what you did. And I also don't know if you ever had the car serviced, because you have no records, you have no proof of it, and just like to hell with it. So in the process, said screw it, we left. I apologized to my wife for wasting her time, because had the guy reached out to me at 4 o'clock, I would have already been there, saw the car was a piece of shit, and then drove back home, and she would have knew nothing about it. So that's the only good thing we had. Is she goes like, yeah, I like this car. I'm like, okay, so at least I know she likes that style of car, and we just got to figure out if it's worth continue to look for this style of car or not. So, but yeah, it is what it is. So that was a waste of time. Got back to the house. Oh, also on the way over there in the vet, I was getting a weird squeaking sound from like, well, it's not just coming from the driver's side front wheel, but it wasn't on the motor. It wasn't like we rev it up, it wasn't doing nothing. That I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But I got a little squeaky sound, like maybe I got a bearing or something hanging on my brake caliper or somewhere. So I pulled over, checked it out, and didn't see anything hanging down, didn't see anything rubbing, didn't see anything strange, and decided to continue to drive along. So it went away. So my guess is probably the brake hanging up or who knows what. So gotta get in there and look at it and jack it up, take a wheel off, give it a little better once over, maybe grease some, grease certs and whatever and whatnot too. So that was a little bit on the annoying side. So went ahead and had that thing. We also got our insurance bill, and we pay every 6 months and whatever. We don't worry about it. So, but it's like $900 just for my Corvette every 6 months. And I'm like, God damn, it's $150 a month. That's a lot of money, I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of this. Like, I'm just like, that's dumb. So I'm either gonna drop it down to liability and just say to hell with it, or I might just dump the vet off and get rid of it completely. And $150 is like probably the biggest car payment I ever made in my life back in the day when I was making car payments, because I never bought really expensive cars and whatnot. I put a lot down, but I'm paying $150 a month just to drive a shitty car once in a while. I mean, it's not a shitty car, it's a good car, but just drive a fun car every month. And I'm thinking, that's ridiculous. Like, I could be buying almost another Tesla stock every month instead for retirement, and I'm not sure if that car gives me $150 a month of fun. So yeah, I figured it out. But I got to make that decision at some point and move on, because I forget how much insurance is, because especially when you pay it like once a year or once every 6 months, I don't think about it that much. I don't worry about it, and then we move on. So yeah, went ahead, had dinner, ended up doing Sloppy Joe's, which reheated because Mom apparently made it like at noon, and then put in the fridge. So had Sloppy Joe's, which I crunched up a bunch of Doritos, put on it, and had a little open face, eat them, and watched some Wentworth, headed back outside, had a cigar, and enjoyed the beautiful evening. So that's all I got for right now. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.